So speaking of China,
Yeah.
let's talk about the Great Firewall of China.
Okay, it's been a while since we've talked about that.
Yeah, well, we like those trolls, those bots that seem to hit us whenever we talk about China. So this is an interesting one. It happened last week where Google came under fire for having Project Dragonfly. So if you go back 3 weeks ago, we talked about how they were being questioned by Congress, and this was actually the CEO of Google. So Sundar Pichai, I believe is how you pronounce his name. You guys can correct me. But anyways, he got under a lot of fire for Project Dragonfly. And Project Dragonfly is it was a secret project that was working on censoring data in a search engine for China. And this was at the request of the Chinese government.
Yes.
So a big deal, an American company, and of course the United States of America believes in freedom of speech, and yet here they're complying with these requests to censor. And just to give you an idea of some of the things that have come out since Google's been pressured about this Project Dragonfly, these are the things that they were blocking. So entire websites, so this is called the Great Firewall of China. It's not just Google, it's already up. China's already censoring this. So it's Wikipedia, BBC, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, CBC, and then and a lot more. Like there's like thousands.
Tech Time podcast.
Tech Time. They don't like us. Good. And then search terms like Tiananmen Square protest, right? All of that's being blocked. And so what's amazing is Google, who originally came out with the phrase "do no evil" as their motto, is now compliant and working with China. And what's interesting, did you know that Google had previously left China on their own because of concerns around censorship?
I was not aware of that.
Yeah. So Google co-founder, his name's Sergey Brin. He grew up in the USSR. He left because in 2010 due to the totalitarianism of Chinese policies. And so he did not like the direction that China was going. He did not like censorship. And yet they have this secret project, Dragonfly, that they were working on. And it was so secret that when Congress specifically asked Sundar Pichai about it, he deflected left and right. And he was like, I can neither confirm nor deny, right? Like that's kind of what he was saying. And actually, exactly what he says is, we have no plans to launch a search engine in China. Well, that's because what they were working on wasn't a search engine. It was a filter for a search engine.
Oh.
Right. So
sneaky.
I think that's just a downright lie. He knew the intent of the question and he specifically dodged it with limited information in a response. And then when pressed, he acknowledged the project had over 100 people working on it. And he called it a limited effort within the company.
100 people is pretty big.
If you think about it, yeah, you got 100 engineers working on a project. Now, we just reported that they had 7,000 employees in New York, and they're going to have 14,000. So just in New York alone. So if you look at the amount of resources that Google and Alphabet have, it's not a lot. It may be considered a limited effort, but it's still an effort. This is what Pichai said to Congress. He said, getting access to information is an important human right. We are always compelled across the world to provide access to information. So his statement was basically saying, look, we're following the laws of China, and that's their country. We have to obey those laws. And as long as we're getting some information to the people, then we're fulfilling our role and duty as good Western people who believe in information. So, Dan, is that hypocrisy? Where he says we believe in information and now we're censoring, because that's what this software does. It censors. It's not trying to push information, it's censoring information. So is that hypocrisy? Or is it good that Google's at least trying to be there?
Well, look, I mean, he has a lot of competition through Baidu and all those other, Chinese companies. And it must be frustrating to see that billion people just slip through their fingers. All the money that's potentially there. I did a quick calculation. I don't know why I couldn't think of what 100,000 times 100 was.
Yeah,
But it's 10 million.
it's
So
10
if
million.
if he pays each one of those 100 engineers $100,000, it's a $10 million project, and most likely they're getting paid closer to 200 or more. And of course, there's people that are on the lower end and on the higher end, but I'm willing to ballpark this project cost about $20 million. I don't think that's small or insignificant at
Yeah.
all.
Well, actually, on December 18th, Project Dragonfly was officially shelved. So they received so much backlash after their appearance with Congress and finally admitting that it existed. And remember, Dan, months ago, there were thousands of employees marching on the streets because of rumors that they were working on censoring information in China. And so it's official, it existed, and now they say it's shelved. But the wording they used, and those sneaky CEOs and lawyers of CEOs, it sounds like it's on hold, not completely gotten rid of. So they said it's shelved instead of we've closed it down and shut it down. So
Fascinating.
yeah, we could see more of that in the future. So do no evil, Google. We're watching you.